Hi guys, today we're making a vegan seitan turkey roulade with a crispy turkey skin because we all know that the skin on the roasted turkey is the best part, so we're just going to try to mimic that but making it vegan. So to a hot pan I am going to add some oil, a half cup of onions, and some mushroom powder. And now this mushroom powder I know is a little more of an unusual ingredient, and I just use that by pulsing some shiitake mushrooms up in my Vitamix blender, and I'm just going to let that mushroom powder bloom in oil. Now I'm going to take 2 cups of cashew milk, and to the 2 cups of cashew milk I am going to add a tablespoon of Cajun spice, a heaping tablespoon of mushroom powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and some fresh ground black pepper. Just going to give those a couple grinds, get them on in there. And now I'm taking 6 tablespoons of roasted nutritional yeast, and roasted nutritional yeast kind of has like a chickeny flavor. It just adds a really nice umami flavor to the dish. Now I'm going to take some avocado oil, and I'm using 4 tablespoons. You can use less if you want to, but the more oil you have, the more moisture your meat will have. And just give it a taste and see how everything's blending together, and it tastes incredibly good. So the only thing I think that it could use is a little bit of thyme. So I'm just throwing some thyme in there, but if you don't have time for thyme, you can throw in some rosemary. That might be nice. Let me know. Comment below. Tell me how it turns out. So now I'm taking a cup of kidney beans that I've already smushed with the back of a spatula, and I'm just going to break those up a little bit and get all like the big bean clumps out with my whisk, and just whisk the beans into the milk mixture. And now I'm going to add those onions, and I'm just going to kind of combine everything. And as you can see, the texture got a little bit thick, so it needs more cashew milk. So I'm just going to add a half cup of cashew milk, and then just kind of whisk everything together. And now it's a little more of a liquidy texture. So I'm going to take 2 cups of vitae gluten, and I'm going to add that into my seasoned milk mixture. And you see how the texture is immediately starting to change, and it's like really thick. That's exactly what you're looking for. Watch in just a second. There you have it. It should look almost like a oatmeal cookie texture, like our oatmeal cookie batter texture. So just keep stirring until everything is well combined, and then at a certain point, this point, when it looks definitely like an oatmeal cookie batter, you're going to want to take your hand and start kneading that seitan dough, and you'll feel the gluten start to activate and the dough becomes really stretchy, and that's perfect because you definitely want the glutens to be nice and activated. So now I've just moved that milk meat over to the side, and I'm just going to chop some nuts. I'm using walnuts, pecans, and some chestnuts, and a little bit of thyme, because this is going to be our stuffing, guys. And now you're going to want to season your stuffing up. And I really love like Cajun turkey. When I used to make turkey with my family, I'd always make a Cajun bird. So that's why I'm adding Cajun spice into the stuffing, and a little bit of mushroom powder for some umami flavor. And speaking of umami flavor, let's just throw some nutritional yeast at the situation, because that's just going to make this stuffing perfect. And for a little more texture, I'm going to take some dried cherries, but you could use cranberries or any kind of dried berry you have. And I'm just chopping them into small uniform pieces. And I'm going to throw those into the stuffing mixture, make sure everything's well combined. And now I'm going to clean my station up. And I threw a little more milk onto my seitan just to make sure that it's pliable, because you want the gluten activated but you don't want it too tough, because as you can see right here, we're going to roll it out into roulade. So we're just going to kind of flatten our seitan ball onto this wax paper, and then I'm going to take a tiny rolling pin, and I'm going to flatten it to about 1/4 of an inch thick piece of seitan, and then I'm going to add a nice thin layer of our nut stuffing, and we're just going to kind of roll it on itself like a burrito, and we're going to tuck the sides in and roll it up in the wax paper like a Tootsie Pop. there you have it, guys. So I'm going to show you again, but a little slower this time. So we're going to take our seitan and we're going to roll it out. And if you have a large rolling pin, that would probably be better, but I got this at the Korean store, and this was like, I think it's a dumpling roller. So it's really small, but it's nice. So you get zen with your seitan. You guys really get to know each other during this process. So you're just going to want to roll out your seitan so it's about a quarter of an inch or inch and a half, a little rectangle, and this is looking kind of perfect right now, but I think it could use a few more rolls just to like kind of smooth it out. Yeah, finally I got to that edge. It was bothering me. So now we're just going to take a little bit of our nut stuffing and we're just going to spread it out fairly evenly onto our seitan roulade. And just, I'm pressing it in because I really love the flavor. Because seitan, it's definitely going to have a muscular texture, but it's not going to have that muscular texture of meat. So if you put something mushy in there, like a bread stuffing, I don't like, it's not enough texture contrast. So I like to use the nut stuffing and like push it into the meat so there's more textures. And now I'm just going to take some cranberry sauce that I made, and I do have a cranberry sauce video that's going to be linked below. And I'm just going to take a little bit of cranberry sauce and put it in the center of the roulade. And there are whole cranberries in there as well. But it's just going to add like a lot of, definitely it's going to make it beautiful, but it's also going to add like more texture and flavor. So just go ahead and you see how I'm doing it with the wax paper. I mean, you could totally use plastic wrap if you wanted to, but you can't cook it in plastic wrap, so I do suggest using a piece of wax paper so you don't have to keep transferring it. And I'm just going to smush it at the end as if it were a tamale. So after we've kind of settled the ends, I'm just going to take a piece of butcher's twine and I'm going to truss it like it was a roast because I think that looks really cute. So yeah, I'm just going to truss it up and I'm going to tie the ends because we're going to boil this seitan loaf in water, but you don't want it to get like too watery because then the texture becomes kind of mushy. So I'm going to make sure the ends are nice and tight, and then I'm going to take some Reynolds wrap or any kind of foil, and I'm just going to roll it really tight with the foil, and I might even go in for a second layer because you want to make sure that you keep the water out but it still absorbs like the steam. So I have some seasoned water, and this is a totally unnecessary step, but what I do have in there is pimentos, cinnamon, and a little bit of anise boiling. But you totally don't have to do that. I'm just a crazy person and I think that the water should be fragrant. So you're going to let this boil for about 35 minutes. Just make sure it's completely submerged with water. That's the most important thing. So now let's talk about a very special and important ingredient, and these are tofu skins. You can find them at almost any Korean grocery store. They come in a can or in the refrigerated package, and you can see it kind of already looks like chicken skin before I brush this oil on it, and it's just a mixture of avocado oil, a little bit of smoked paprika and cumin, and that's just to give it a more umami kind of a flavor because they're a little bit sweet when they come out of the packages because they are sealed with flavoring. So as you can see, it kind of puffs up and starts to look like chicken skin, and it gets that nice golden brown color, and for me that's the color of turkey when I pull it out of the oven. So you could have, if you wanted to, you could have pen the skins, the tofu skins, on the seitan before you rolled it in the roulade, and it would have stuck to it. But I just feel like you don't get it crispy on both sides, and I love the texture of crispy skin. So I wanted it to be extra crispy, but also don't embarrass yourself and try to cut it with a regular knife. You need a serrated knife to cut this bad boy. So find yourself a nice serrated knife and a fork, and we're just going to slice into our seitan bird. And see, you can see for that piece, I used a regular stuffing. I didn't even show you the recipe because it's not worth doing. Trust me. But now this one has the nut and cranberry stuffing, and it looks beautiful, and it has a really nice texture. And now you can see from the close-up that that skin is nice and crispy, y'all. So if you enjoyed this video, hit it with a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you haven't done it already, follow me on Instagram at Awkward in the Kitchen. And hopefully this recipe satisfies even the biggest hater in your family. Peace.